All right, this is Abons. Hey Spacebear, I'm going to try and help you out with a Fire Knight Hard 10 video. Let me show you the team. I got really lucky with a Grand Oak Padraig, however you say it, pull recently, and that really opened up my avenue towards stage 10. Likewise with pulling Carl. I think you have both those champs, so you should be able to have those keys to get through. I was stuck for the longest time on like stage 6, 7. I could get into 8 if I really re-geared my champs properly. I could do it, but just in terms of consistency, if I re-geared them properly, I think I could do it consistently on auto, like 100% kind of thing. But I really struggled with stage 9, and the reason is because I depended on some force champions for their freezes, and it was just too unreliable with the affinity weakness. So when I got Carl into the mix with some consistent freezes from him, that really helped me bypass the stage. So I'll show you my stage 10 team, and I'll show you a run. So generally speaking, I got some of the key champions here, and I think you have most of these. I think you have these 4, but Glycad, you might have to find a solution to replace him. So I've got Grand Oak in the lead with a speed lead, and dungeons being 25% is just absolutely essential. Like Fire Knight 10 hard boss, I think, is at 250 speed, which is, I think, the fastest among all dungeon bosses in the game, or something. I don't know. He's really fast. I've also maxed out the area bonus. If you go to area bonuses here, I've maxed out the area bonuses in Fire Knight's Castle for speed. That gives a whopping 20 speed for all my champions. That's massive. So I highly recommend you do that if you can afford it. I do a lot of live arena. I really enjoy doing that. And yeah, it's great for progression. I also cranked up my ignore defense because, as you'll see when I run the run, the speed at which I do this run now is really the bottleneck. I can do it now consistently, but it's just so slow. So I'm just trying to increase my speed whatever way I can. Increase the speed of clearing the waves, especially. Actually, it's especially the boss. You'll see how slow that is. So these guys are my ally attackers. So Grand Oak and Mikage, they're in first and second position. I make sure to put Mikage in the second position because they both have A1s that don't really do anything meaningful to the boss. And what you want to do is put your ally attackers in the beginning positions here so that the debuffers on my team with their A1s, all these 3 freeze champs here with their A1s, they go last in the order of attacks and hopefully can land some freezes. So then I've got my freeze champs here. I've got Carl, Glycad, and Neldor. I'll show you my team setup, and so you can kind of see the stats on them as well, and some of the priorities I can speak to, and then I'll show you the run. So Padraig's 293 speed. I'm pretty sure this is not showing what the speed looks like when you account for the area bonus. Let's have a quick look. I was just looking at this guy. Maybe it shows it with the area bonus. Let's see. Yeah, it shows it with the area bonus. That's actually handy. So 293 is with my area bonus, right? So I'm only geared to 273. It's 293 with the area bonus. Yeah, okay, so it's 293 speed with that area bonus. Otherwise, the stats don't really matter. Just enough tankiness to take a hit. As you'll see, that's my strategy with a Fire Knight. Mikage, here's her speed. I use her in arena everywhere, really. So I didn't really gear these champions specifically for Fire Knight, by the way. I just made sure they're fast enough to be functional in this team. So 334 is just probably more speed than you need, but yeah, she's amazing. Accuracy is very helpful for the waves, but that's pretty simple as well. And again, enough like stats to take a hit. Here's my Glycad. Again, speed. I use him in arena a lot as well, surprisingly, everywhere really. 284 speed. Accuracy is helpful for him, but as you'll see, like he's got an increased accuracy aura on his buff on his A3, and that just helps the whole team in terms of accuracy. So these two guys, Glycad, Carl, and Neldor, are the ones that you want to care about with landing debuffs. Carl's 247 speed. He's also in Relentless gear. Neldor's 282 speed. This could probably be slower. You could also put him in Relentless gear to get more turns if you'd like. Their accuracies are, you know, a good amount, especially considering the buff they're getting. But you might want to have like more accuracy. I think you need 350 or something like that. I don't know. Check hellhades.com and the stages tool for Fire Knight 10. You'll see what accuracy cap you need. But yeah, there's kind of my speeds and stats, enough to take a hit. Yakarl's probably the weakest, and he still takes a hit without dying, so that's fine. So the critical piece about these guys is that so each 3 of their A1s through the ally attacks have a chance to freeze. So we got a double hitter for Glycat, 50% chance each hit to land a freeze. Yakarl is double hitter, 50% once booked. I haven't booked Yakarl at all, so hopefully the run goes smoothly because I've only got a 75% chance to land the decreased speed. We'll see how it goes. But the A1 is going to book up to 50% chance double hitter as well, and then Neldor's like 3 times triple hitter with 40% chance. So all 3 of those are just huge in terms of like you know, freezes. If you don't have Glycad, you could try Croyd in the blue. I think he has like a decent like freeze on his A1 as well. In which case, like, yeah, I think you should be golden. But you might just have to take a different strategy. I take a hit from the boss. So Glycad's in faultless defense. And he's got an A3 that gives him an extra turn, which means it doesn't waste a turn of him attempting to freeze. And it doesn't increase defense buff. And with faultless defense, that means any champion on the team who has increased defense based from this champion with faultless defense will reflect damage back to the attacker. And so Fire Knight, his shield goes down when attacked. So I'll show you the run. Yakarl's basically the main damage dealer. Neldor's has a pretty good hit too, but it's kind of a random build. Yeah, let's just see how it goes. I haven't shown you the presets. I'll talk through those. So Mikage basically starts in her first form, uses the ally attack just to get some damage up initially on the team. You can see how these waves are controlled so easily based on all the freezes. You know, the random hitter from Neldor as well can just suddenly randomly you know, freeze like 3 champions. Then Mikage, I flip to her like second form from there on out until I get to the boss, and she just controls the waves and applies weaken. So weaken just to try and get more damage out there and speed in my run, and then the stun obviously to control the waves. But as you can see, everyone's frozen anyways from Yakarl, Neldor, and Glycad, so the control's not really that needed. Yeah, I guess for Grand Oak, I kind of just I think I let him do his ally attack in this first wave, but then I save it for the boss. Otherwise, I let his A3 go wild, and he just kind of repeats his. Oh yeah, I let his ally attack go wild on this first wave, and then don't use it on the second wave. I want both Mikage and Grand Oak to have their ally attacks at the ready at the boss. Likewise, I want the key debuffs from Neldor and Yakarl ready at the boss. So A2 from Neldor I'm going to not use on this wave, and A2 from Yakarl I'm not going to use on the first wave after the first hit. It's just so much damage that I prioritize letting it have a first hit if it's available, and then don't use it thereafter. Glycad, for the first 2 waves, I let him spam his A2, which is like an increased attack and perfect veil. It just helps like increase the damage that we do to the waves and speed up the run. But we don't want him to use his A3. We need that for the boss at the start. Yeah, I think the more I gear out Yakarl and skill him up and stuff, the faster these waves go. But the boss is where the majority of the time takes. Like, we usually clear the waves in like 2.5 minutes. I bet you can get down to like 1.5 if I gear my champions better. Okay, so we're at the boss now. Mikage's in her alternate form.